Alright guys, so I just got out of Onward and I am so excited to talk about this because Disney and Pixar, for the majority of their films that Pixar has done, I have loved, I'd say like 80-85% of Pixar's movies. So I was really excited that we're getting, even though I do like all the sequels that they've been doing, especially Toy Story 4, which was my favorite movie last year. uh, I love that they're doing an original movie idea for Pixar and not doing another sequel. And they're going to do that for a while after Toy Story 4. They said they're going to do at least 5 movies, including this and Soul that comes out this year, and 3 other movies that come out in the next couple of years that will all be original ideas as opposed to just being sequels. Which, again, I love a lot of the sequels that they're doing, but I love the fact that Pixar is going back and doing original ideas. Because this one, the trailer sold me. I thought this movie looked fun and enjoyable, and it's directed by Dan Scanlon, who directed Monsters University, I think, as well. And I really thought that was a fun little movie. It was one of the lesser Pixar movies, but it still had a lot of good things about it and a lot of good moments. And then we come to Onward, where it's a story about two brothers set in a fantasy world, but it is modern day with modern human technology, which is a really, really cool idea. And it's weird because it was either last year or the year before we had Bright, which was that Will Smith, Joel Edgerton movie where it was in modern day with elves and orcs and fantasy characters, but the main characters were cops, and like they were going through like corrupt villains of the movie, which were like fantasy creatures, and it was set in a fantasy world, again a modern world with fantasy characters. And it was they're very similar, both of these movies. But I got to tell you this, like, of course, Onward is 100 times better than Bright, which Bright was just, I really don't remember much about that. I really didn't enjoy Bright that much. I thought it wasn't that entertaining or that fun, even though Will Smith was good in it. But it was one of those movies that that wasn't that great, and Pixar took an idea from a film that came out pretty recently to make an even better, way better movie, in my opinion. Now, the fascinating thing about this movie, I really like how the movie starts out, where you see that the world was mythical and magical, and now it fast forwards to current time in this world where the magic is gone and it's all technological, which is a really cool idea. And I really love the fact that you have these two characters. You have Ian, who is played by Tom Holland, who is this kid who had never knew his father, and you've got Barley, who's the older brother, played by Chris Pratt, voiced by Chris Pratt, and they both don't have a father. The father's died a long time ago, and they only live with their mother, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And they, like, Ian really wants to meet his dad. He really, really wants to know who his dad is, because he never got to know him. And I thought it was just, on that note, starting the movie out, that was just incredibly touching. Watching this kid really want to know who his dad was and because he never got to know him. And on his 16th birthday, the mom gives Ian this staff, a magical staff that they could use to bring the dad back. And they try the spell, and it brings only half of his body, which I think is a really cool and creative idea. And it's really funny and fun, the way they can use just the bottom half of the dad in really funny situations. Like whenever, you've seen this in the trailer, whenever they're fighting all these pixies that are like bikers, which is really funny, these small pixies like this big, fighting, that are bikers, and they're really mean and intimidating. The dad, it has like the upper body that's fake, and like it tips his head, and it looks like he's given the pixie guy shade, and the pixie says, "Do you want to fight shades?" Like it's really funny with that kind of aspect of using the dad with the only legs and the top part which isn't him. And it's like similar to like Weekend at Bernie's, where like the dead body like just does movements, but this isn't a dead body, just half a body, his legs that are moving. So I think that that's really cool and just really creative and really funny. And I really just, the voice acting in this really, really is incredibly good, because Tom Holland and Chris Pratt have really incredible chemistry as brothers. They truly feel like brothers in this movie, in a way where I was honestly kind of flabbergasted by the end of the movie just how fantastic a job these two did. And I really do like these actors already. They're already great actors. They already do great things. But they both of them in this movie really bring the heart to this movie and the soul, and it works very, very well. And I just really love their chemistry, and I really love their adventures just going on this quest. And I really like how both of them think so differently. You've got Barley, the older brother, who is trying to do whatever he wants. He's just an adventurer. He likes to do something even if he doesn't care what the repercussions are. And Ian, the 16-year-old shy kid who hasn't come into his own yet, argues with Barley like he wants to do the logical thing, but Barley doesn't because he just is happy-go-lucky, does whatever he wants. And I love how these brothers are complete opposites, but they work so well together. And it's perfect that they are complete opposites because that's a story arc in the movie that, without spoiling it, makes it incredibly emotional and fulfilling at the end. And also the movie is just incredibly beautiful. Like every Pixar movie, even the lesser ones, they're all beautiful movies, and they just keep getting better. And it's genuinely so such a beautiful color palette in this movie as well. I really liked the use of. It was very bright and colorful in a lot of situations, but I like the fact that whenever they get into dark situations, the movie does look dark, and I really appreciate that too. And I really love the twists and surprises in this movie. And by twists and surprises, I mean they're not complete surprises if you understand that, like, it's a story that you kind of know where you think it's going to go, and then it doesn't completely go that direction. It kind of has a have your cake and eat it too thing where, like, you see the situation that you think is going to happen in the movie and how it's going to change the characters. But I love how in Pixar movies they don't sugarcoat their movies. They don't make the movies just everything is completely happy, because it's not completely realistic. And I love the fact that Pixar does this for a majority of their movies, is that you can't always get what you want. Without spoiling it, it's a movie where, like, they did this in Monsters University too. It's like you can't always get everything you want. Everything is not always happy. It's a fun comedic movie, but there are moments in this movie where you sit there like, this got dark. This got really, really effective because they went that extra mile just to make this movie not just a sugar-coated happy movie, and I really love that. And I'm not going to lie, like, by the end of the movie, I was honestly choked up. The way that they execute the ending of this movie, it really... Pixar's like one of the only animation companies that can make me literally be genuinely surprised and get choked up by the end of the movie. And this one is no exception, because the end of this movie gave such a fulfilling thing where, like, I was legitimately sitting there like I couldn't take it. Like, it was that good. It was that incredible with the ending. But overall, I really, really enjoyed Onward. Onward is a great movie. It's not Pixar's best, if that makes sense, with all the praise I'm giving. And I don't think it's the best Pixar movie, but it's still a great movie. It's still a great movie, and I really loved it. But it's hard to pick and choose when there are 20 so Pixar movies that you have, and like 20 of them are great. Like 20 out of 23 are great. The only ones I really don't like that much are like Cars 2 or 3. I don't remember liking Good Dinosaur that much. Brave I don't remember much. So it's like there's way more bad than good in this Pixar canon, but this one ranks somewhere in the middle because there's so many great ones. It's hard. I can't put it at like the best Pixar movie because it's not for me, but it's still a great movie. It's still a great movie by kids movie standards too. Because whenever I see all these kids movies in theaters, I'm like, usually if it's not a Pixar movie or Disney movie, it's usually like, oh man, I can't stand this. But I like to review every movie. But this one was worth my time. I really, really loved Onward. This was an incredible movie. Not Pixar's best, but a really great movie overall. Awesome.